What's up guys? Today I have someone very special I wanted to introduce you all. This is our son Jett with the hiccups. Jett is just over 3 weeks old now, and I wanted to tell the story of how he came into the world and just kind of, watch them. We've got heaps of photos and videos throughout it, so just kind of to watch them, share it with you all. It is a bit of a long story, so if you are interested, maybe go pop some popcorn or make yourself a cup of tea, put your feet up on the couch, relax, settle in. I'm not gonna lie, I actually went through everything yesterday and told the story and recorded it, but I really wanted to have Jett in the intro. So here it is, the story of how Jett came into the world. Bye! Oh gosh, I nearly dropped him. Okay, so for a bit of context first, Jett was due on the 19th of January, but he'd been like upside down, like breached the whole time. So the plan was always to get him out a little bit earlier, and we're going to have like a cesarean on the 10th of January. And on the 2nd of January in the afternoon, we had an appointment to confirm that he was still upside down, and we would go ahead and book the operating theatre for the following week. So that was the plan at least. The 2nd of January came along, it was like 10 in the morning, and we were like, yeah, like we've got a bit of spare time. Let's go up to the shops. I was going to go to the gym, Elise was going to do a bit of banking for work and some shopping or whatever. We pulled into like Rouse Hill Shopping Centre. We're in the car park getting out, and Elise is like, oh my gosh, like I just peed myself. And I was like, yeah, okay, like it's not like that abnormal for Elise at least. So then she was like, no, like seriously, like I need to go to the bathroom. So we went in, went to the bathroom, she came out a couple minutes later and she was like, okay, I don't think you can go to the gym because I don't really know what's going on, but yeah, I think we need to go to the doctor now. So we actually still went and did her banking first because she really needed to do that for work. But then we got in the car, and we called the doctor and we said like, not 100% sure what's happened here. Could just be pee. But you know, I don't know, it could be anything. And they were like, oh, I don't know, it sounds like it could be your waters breaking. I think you should come in a bit early. You should come in at 11:30. So this was about 10:30. We had like half an hour at home just to like, I made this little video for Mum because she was gonna come look after the dog Betty and the rabbit Sandy. Beautiful videography there. And we had showers, we packed our bags, we made sure we were ready to go, and then we drove to the doctor. I think like Elise did a little bit of like recording on the way. I'm not sure if it's Pete or Jett coming to say hello. So you might see a video in half an hour of us saying, no, is this Pete? We're pretty nervous. Or a video in half an hour with a baby. We were pretty nervous at this point. So we got to the doctor and we took like a couple photos, like standing out the front, just like this could be our last photos together. And actually, as we were kind of pulling into the doctor, I think Elise started having like what we thought could have been contractions, like started having some pains. So we get into the doctor, it's 11:30, we're like, you know, waters might have broken, contractions might be starting, we're here for the doctor, and the receptionist is like, ooh, he's actually just had to run across the road to deliver a baby, and there's 2 other people in front of you. So we like sat in that waiting room for like an hour, and like it's obviously no one's fault, he's got to go deliver a baby, but yeah, he came back, there were women in there just like getting like checkups or something, I don't know what they were doing, and Elise is there like contracting in the corner, like she didn't really show, no one else could even tell that she had contractions, but she would kind of like give me a little nudge and I would time how long they were and how far in between in case things really like escalated and I needed to say something. So we finally got to go in and see the doctor. Our obstetrician was Dr. Matthew Wilson, like total legend. Like I went to like every appointment, one because I wanted to be like a loving father and obviously look after Elise, but also because like I just liked hanging out with Dr. Wilson, so he was a legend. But we got in to see him, he kind of had a look around and was like, yeah, I think waters are broken, you better pop across the road, have a baby in a couple hours. So we just walked, we drove across to the hospital, which was literally just across the road. We got Elise this like nice little wheelchair. Cool ride. I don't know if you can see, but that wheelchair is literally like this big. Like it's a 2-person wheelchair. Elise is sitting there like with herself and a bag next to her. And I have no idea like why it's necessary for a wheelchair to be that big, but it was like, made it really impractical to move around. So like we got her in the lift, we went upstairs, and normally like when I talk to people, I try to like really think what I'm gonna say beforehand and be like, hello, I'm Jake, this is the situation. Like, I don't know, I pride myself on like being organized, but I was just like a mess and I was like, went up to like the wrong place and was like, "This is Elise, she's having a baby, the doctor called, where do we go?" And they're like, "What do you, this isn't the birthing unit, this is like the maternity ward." So they took us back to the birthing unit. This bloody double sized wheelchair couldn't get through the door, so we got like stuck in the door trying to get into the birthing unit. And we're like, "Oh, at least maybe you should just stand up and walk in." So she went in. This is her lying in the bed here. Pretty chilled at the moment. Eventually she got on the gas because her contractions were getting quite painful. And she was, at one point she was complaining about being lightheaded, and they were like, "Yeah, you're only meant to use the gas during the contractions, you're just sitting there with it on all the time." But she did very well. Like, it was definitely in pain, but didn't really, just kind of sat there like in her own little world. So we're probably in that room for like 45 minutes or something like that. The anesthetist came in, and he was the guy who was going to be like sedating, giving Elise the anesthetic, I guess is the phrase. And she got to choose whether she was going to be knocked out or just be numb from here down. His name was Dr. Nandy. He was also a legend. Great people involved throughout the whole process. And so Elise chose to be like awake and just numb from here down. So then we went to the operating theatre, and we had to wait for Dr. Wilson to come before they actually did like the spinal to like make Elise numb, because that only lasts for a certain amount of time. I think they said 90 minutes, and they're like, "Oh, the doctor's running late and doesn't get here for an hour, then like your spinal's gonna wear off." So I had to be in a separate room, and Elise was in the operating theatre, and we were all just kind of like sitting there waiting for Dr. Wilson to come. She was contracting, is that the word? She was having contractions. I'm like staring through this little like curtained tiny window like this big to see how she's going. Here, this was my view. And then I just sat in this little room by myself, spinning around on the chair. Like, such a nervous wait, I guess. And then Dr. Wilson came, and it was showtime. So I went in, there was like a curtain up. See, I got to go into the operating theatre once they actually started kind of doing the procedure. They just didn't want me in there while they were doing the spinal, because I guess there's enough stuff going on. And then this was my little view here. This is Elise. So cute. So she's like getting operated on right there. So she's kind of lying down, there's this curtain up, they're doing the stuff down there, and she can't see anything. And after probably like, I can only would have been like maybe 2 minutes max, I reckon. Dr. Wilson was like, "All right, Jake, you want to stand up and have a look?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." And they kind of brought the curtain down a tiny bit. And I stood up, and he was like, "All right." He'd already kind of like cut into the stomach here. This is getting a bit graphic, guys. But he'd like cut into the stomach, and then he was like, "All right, see this right here? This is the uterus." And he went, cut it open, and like pulled it apart, and was like, "See this? This is your baby's bum and its legs." And he like pulled it out, and the blood like splattered over Elise's face. She got like a couple drops on her forehead. And then like, it's honestly like a blur from there. I think they must have given her to a nurse, and the nurse like wrapped her up, and then they're like, "All right, Jake, come over here. You can see the baby, cut the cord, all that kind of stuff." And they were really good at like, "Oh, give me your phone, we want to record this, take photos," all that kind of stuff. Like, I didn't have to be like, "Hey, can you please do that?" So that was awesome. So they captured like the first 3 minutes of me actually interacting with Jett, like the first time I ever saw him, and got to like touch him and cut the cord and all that. So here's some of that footage. I'm like tearing up heaps at the time. This is me like clamping the cord, and then I cut it, which was like so tough to cut. And that was his weight. He was 2.890. His body, I think, was 44 centimeters long, and his head was so big that the circumference of that was like, is that the word, circumference? Was like 36 centimeters. So like his head was like as big almost as his body was long, like 80% as long as his body was long. So then we took him back to Elise here. Elise got to hold him for the first time. They just kind of, she's like numb and only is like able to like move from here up. So they just kind of put her there on Elise. Maybe I put him there, I can't remember. And he literally, as soon as he like touched her body, he like peed on her face a little bit. But like, it just, I don't know, it sounds gross, and I'm one of those people that would normally be like, "That's disgusting," but like, it honestly, I don't know, none of it mattered at the time. I hear a baby crying, BRB. Okay, I'm back, but maybe not for long. He's due for like a bath and a feed any second now, so I'm on standby. This is like the first photo of the three of us together, which is pretty nice. I really like that photo. And he opened his eyes so quickly. So then after that, we were probably in there for like, probably another 30 minutes as they like stitched Elise up, and then they took us both to like a recovery area where we were there for maybe like another 30, maybe 45 minutes, where Elise like fed and stuff for the first time. And then I went separately to the maternity ward where I had accidentally gone to start with, being like, hey, someone help me deliver a baby. And this is me like going for a little ride with Jett, pushing him along. The midwife that was there too, she was pretty funny. She like was pushing him for a while, and was like, we were like going down a ramp, and she's like, ooh, like no hands in it and stuff. And yeah, it was fun. And then we finally, we got to our little room in the maternity unit. This is us in the room here. Little Jett asleep then. Oh, so cute. He was so puffy, like such like an old man. And his head, apparently that's like a common with breech babies, that his head was like pushed against Elise's ribs, so it's kind of like flat and long, whereas a lot of babies are kind of like pointy almost, from like coming out naturally. Yeah, whatever, science. And this is me with little Jett. Elise there holding him. Oh, and there's the three of us again here. This is like the first photo we kind of sent out to some people, I think, saying that he'd arrived. Maybe that was even what we posted on social media a couple days later. Yeah, but so you can see like Elise holding him there, but because she had the cesarean, she couldn't move, or she couldn't get out of bed for the first 24 hours, and then the next 48 after that, she was like so slow at getting out of bed that she effectively like couldn't get out of bed. So I like did all, not that it was hard on me, it was obviously a lot harder on her, but so I was doing all the passing to Elise. Like anything she needed, I would bring to her and take away, and that was like, yeah, I think that was tiring for both of us. Yeah, those first 3 days were like really tough. I think we probably had like 6 hours sleep total in those first 3 days, and it was like, yeah, it wasn't until the third night that one of the midwives, she was like, oh, like if he's crying, why don't you guys do it in shift? Like Jake, if you guys can't stop him crying, why don't one of you, like Jake, you leave the room with him for 2 hours, Elise can have a sleep. Then you come back, she tries to feed him and go somewhere else for 2 hours and tag team like that. And it's, in hindsight, it's such like an obvious strategy that like, I don't know why we didn't think of it. Instead we were both sitting there like, oh, what do we do? But I don't know, maybe it was like the first time parent panic, or it was like the sleep deprivation that we weren't thinking properly. But yeah, we didn't even think of that until the midwife suggested it. I think her name was Nia, she was a legend. They're like the wrapping and the swaddling and stuff, the midwives and the nurses, they just have like the magic touch. But yeah, anyway, back to that first night. So we got there, this is little Jett again, a couple more shots of him. We were probably in the room for like an hour or so, and all these doctors and everyone's coming in, checking on everyone, and then we finally got to call our parents, who we'd called both of our parents when we found out that it was happening now, and we were like, hey, we're about to have the baby, we'll call you in a few hours. So then Elise's parents came first, and again, just so much was happening that like we hadn't had time to call anyone other than our parents. So Elise's parents were actually babysitting Elise's sister's kid at the time. So like her sister's kid came with the parents and met Jett before we'd even told the sister. So we actually FaceTimed Elise's sister while we were there with her daughter, saying like, hey, where are you? And she's like, I'm in the hospital. And we were like, ah! And then showed them Elise and Jett lying there. So that was all really cool. Then my parents came, shortly after Elise's parents, and they all got to meet him. There was like lovely photos of all of them. Everyone was really excited. It was like, it's cool, like, I don't know, everyone's so nice. You just feel like everyone loves you so much, and I feel like I should be a nicer person and like be more excited for other people, because everyone's just like so excited for you. And yeah, I feel like I need to like match that level for other people now. Maybe especially once you've had kids, you start getting more excited for other people having kids, I guess. What else? Yeah, this is me in my scrubs. How good do I look in the scrubs? Just quietly. I honestly considered going into medicine after putting these scrubs on. They just felt great. So this is me obviously having no idea what I'm doing. So then we called some of our friends. I think this is Elise on the phone. Might be to a cousin, or she called some of her best friends and had like a three-way FaceTime with their sisters. They were all sitting there, like the two sisters and Elise were both sitting there chatting, which was cool. Then I called one of my best friends, John, and I'd actually, I recorded that conversation actually. I'd messaged him, no, I tried to call him and he didn't answer, and he wrote back or something being like, hey, what's up? And I was like, oh, I need your advice on the new shirt. So I put my scrubs back on just so I could show off the scrubs look again. And then I called him to surprise him. Yo, how you going?
Very good. What top? What top is this?
What do you think of it?
It's a surgeon top.
It does, yeah. It's a little hospital top. You wanna see?
Oh my goodness, so early!
God, you're worried about my buddy. We had young Charlie, John, and his mum Donna, and his girlfriend Jenny just the day before. Maybe that made it happen. Who knows? Yeah, well, that's what we wanted to call you.
No, are you calling me? What are we going with?
It starts with a J. John wanted us to name him after him, obviously, and this was us breaking the news that it wasn't called John. But yeah, over the next few days we had like heaps of visitors, like all his family, sisters, brothers, cousins, friends, and we were in this one room for like the first 2 nights, and then after that we moved to like this luxury room. Where is it? I'm sure I have some footage of it here. Yeah, look at this. Double bed. It was like a hotel. And I don't know if it's like just normal that you stay in one room for the first 2 nights and then you move after that, or if it was because Elise had like 3 different clients. She's a hairdresser and 3 of her clients work there. That maybe some of them like pulled some strings and got us into a really good room. I don't know. But either way, thank you whoever got us that room. And yeah, it was just, the first 3 days especially were just crazy, and we were in there for 5 nights total, and it just like, the whole time it just felt like we were in this own, I don't know, it was so strange, in our own little bubble where like nothing existed outside the world. There weren't like clocks on the wall, so you weren't even that conscious of time half the time. Everything just kind of happened quickly, people coming in and out, nurses, doctors, visitors. I don't know, like, I know all this stuff was going on outside the hospital, but like, yeah, World War III could have broken out and we wouldn't have really known. Like, we were just in this own little world. Bath time. He loves a bath. We're back and it's dinner time. Yummy, yummy. First dinner. Then he'll have another dinner in 3 hours, another one 3 hours after that, and then 3 hours after that. Forever. Okay, we're back. Please ignore the baby spit up on my shirt and the pee on my shirt, but this is my life now, you know? Where was I? Yeah, I think, having like 5 nights in the hospital was like a really cool experience. Like, it was like obviously it wasn't a holiday, but you know, like you pay for a 5-night holiday and you get like this whole experience. I feel like it was kind of like that. Like, it was this like once in a lifetime own little bubble that we were in for 5 nights, and that was really cool. I wouldn't say it was fun, but it was definitely an experience, and definitely once in a lifetime. Wouldn't change a thing. It was, like I said before, it was definitely tough, with Elise being quite like immobile from the cesarean. I remember one time it was like the 4th day, and Elise was like getting out of bed and she was trying to put on these like recovery tights to kind of like look after her wound and kind of like give a bit of stability here. And so like, but they were like so tight, so I was like with her trying to like help her pull these tights up, and then all of a sudden Jett starts crying, but the pants are literally like up to here on Elise, so she's kind of like halfway through that. I'm trying to help her, Jett's like screaming his lungs out. Then the nurses come in for like the change of shifts where they come and check on everyone, and I'm like, oh well, I feel like I look like a bad parent here, so I just kind of went and like stood over here with Jett and like patted him or whatever. Meanwhile, Lisa's like stuck in the corner like this, and the nurse is like, what are you doing? Hey, let you get over here and help your wife out. And I was like, oh, sorry, yeah, I'll pull these up over here. And yeah, like, I don't know, everything was like a big mess in there, but it was all kind of part of the fun. And yeah, all the nurses, all the doctors and everything we had along the way were really amazing. What do we got here? We've got some footage of us leaving the hospital. This is Elise's first step outdoors in 5 days, and Jett's first ever.
Hello.
Welcome to the world, Jett. Such an old man. Look at him there in the car seat as well. That car seat took us like half an hour to figure out. I took like the whole thing apart to try to figure out how to like adjust it, and it turns out there was like one little button that I could have just like pulled a cord and it would have been fixed. And that's it. Then we got home. We introduced Jett to Betty.
Careful, Betty. Sit.
But Betty has been very good with him.
Good girl.
If she can go look after him now while he's crying, that would be great. Betty, sort that out. She's on it. That's it. Yeah, it's welcome to the world, little Jett. I'm very excited for everything. Thank you everyone who came to visit us and everyone who's shown us so ridiculous amounts of love. Yeah, we definitely all feel very special. Bye.